Transformation in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're doing fantastic. Oh, woof. Today is a powerful day. The energies right now and surrounding this past month, the month coming up, the next 6 months, the next year. This is the rebalancing of things, the cycle shift, right? The karmic cycle shifts first before we can really redecorate the room, right? Of the reorganize the room of ourselves. We have to take a look at these things, right? We want to change the space that we're living in, or we're noticing that these spaces that we're living in are outdated. Take this as a metaphor or real. Maybe you are actually cleaning out and reorganizing so that you can reassemble your living space, your office space, your workspace, whatever it might be. But it's definitely also applicable to our home spaces within ourselves, within our communities, within our the larger scope of things, right? So that started out with that new moon in Virgo in August, last time we had that new moon. And whew, it was a humdinger, wasn't it? I'm saying that for myself, but you can see it all across everything, right? The spectrum of things. It was a time of getting in there, starting to re-examine, digging out those old cluttered boxes. What are these skeletons in my closet doing, right? Taking them out, dusting them off. Do we need this anymore kind of energy? And through that re-examination, through those seeds of intentions that we were setting to make anew, to reorganize, to re-examine and look at things differently, right? A lot of things started coming to the surface. Woof, Pisces full moon, right? Piscean full moon with a partial lunar eclipse. All right, so it's like those things that were hidden and were coming to the surface, or have been coming to the surface, would like to remain hidden. They would like to remain unseen. But whether they like it or not, there is exposure, right? There has been exposure, and there's an eclipsing of those things. We're like, no, we aren't doing that anymore. That isn't on my, it went from my bucket list to my shit list, right? Like, absolutely not doing that kind of an energy. And it was very emotional, right? Tugging at those emotional strings, tugging at those subconscious strings, and things that maybe we do out of our subconscious mind, our consciousness became aware of, and our higher self said, hey, wait a minute here, right? And that was happening collectively across the board. So we're all kind of bumping into each other in this space, and some people it's made grumpy, and some people it's made introspective, and some people it's made a little bit nervous. But the thing is that it's supposed to, right? It's supposed to take up those things. Why am I feeling that way? Why are you feeling that way? What caused this thing to occur, right? It's that kind of exposure, that kind of looking at things, that really getting into the deep, swimming into the deep with it, and saying, no more of that, right? I don't want that in my life anymore. I don't want that in my body anymore. I don't want that in my environment. I don't want that in that drawer. This doesn't go here, that kind of energy. Now we've come back around to today. 333, creative, right? Great, thank you. 333, Empress energy as we move into Libra. As we move into Libra season, today we have another new moon in Virgo. Right? We had the Black Moon Lilith last time in August. Now we have that fourth new moon. Today is officially the last day of the season, and it is a new moon. And with that new moon comes the partial solar eclipse that sisters, the lunar eclipse that we had 2 weeks ago, last full moon. And so now we really have a chance to re-examine all of those things that were looked at, all of those things were seen. And how do those things affect us now? What is coming? It's the new moon. Set those intentions. Balance is here. It's the equinox. See, we have a solar eclipse. We have partial solar eclipse on the fourth new moon at the equinox. That is powerful, because the balance that we're maintaining, the balance that we're obtaining, is balance that we're retaining and maintaining. All right, we're keeping it. We're keeping our balance, because now that we've cleared the space, now that we've dusted out the corners, now that we're going through those last little bits, now we can set our seeds of intention of what we would like to see in the new. It's coming, it's here. The time is now, right? I already saw it. Posts from Ireland, posts from around the world of the equinox, sunrise. Happening. It is happening now. It happens for these 3 days. Maintain your balance. Enjoy. Expect things to maybe flip switch, right? Because balance does talk about polarities. I have the crystal ball out here. And I do see a paper airplane. I see an airplane of some kind, but it's like that paper airplane. Something about a message, and there's actually a snake behind it. All right, so be careful of false messages. All right, things meant to distract, or things that aren't taken as seriously as they should. That's this paper airplane here. You have the wisdom of the snake, right? The snake represents wisdom in pagan and ancient mythologies. All right, it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing that the snake meant when they told you that it was deceptive. That might have been that paper airplane, right? We're looking at things differently. We're starting to see things differently. Things that we were told were not good actually might. Why did they say that? You know, it's like when a little kid wants a bite of some parent's thing, and they're like, oh, you won't like it, it's spicy. And yet it's like delicious, they just don't want to share. Right? That's that paper airplane feeling. It's like a message coming from like a ways away, and it feels like it's kind of almost incorrect. There's a wisdom to this, and you're able to see that, right? Or maybe that the message is something true, but the way that it's presented is strange. And I am seeing the hand. The hand comes out sometimes. It's like the hand on the Native American women when they were like remember. And again, like remember, it's like, where did these things come from? What happens to these things, to these people? What happens in these situations, right? These things that are coming up, the truths that we can't hide from anymore, the wisdom that we're seeing in this, right? And I also think the hand, like the ancient cave paintings in France, where they'd put their hand on the wall, and then they would blow ochre or different types of clays, right? Iron oxide. They would blow it all around, and then the imprint of the hand would still be there, and it would be like a silhouette, right? And this was done in all over the world, and there's this idea of 5, right? Like 5 and counting and time, and being able to rely on that. Like, you know, that you have this is part of our physical self. 5 fingers, 5 toes, right? 5 appendages coming out of our torso, if you include your head and neck, which I do, right? So it's like those 5 aspects, the 5th element, like mind, body, spirit, and emotion connecting to the divine, right? It's about that and that internal. This is what's happening here. Where are we realigned? Where are we going that is more aligned to the self that we are now that we've evolved past these things, now that we've come into this new consciousness and this new karmic awareness? The astrology was demanding it from us, right? Saturn in Aries was demanding that we take responsibility and accountability, and then it slid back into Pisces, so we could really think about that. So we could really like look at those things and take accountability and responsibility for the subconscious, right? The unknown, the fantasy, right? And then it's going to come back out into Aries and demand again from us responsibility and accountability, and it's going to stay there for a long time. So this is maintaining that balance, getting back into that space, right? So just knowing that, like, use your wisdom. Yeah, and I see a whale talking to a cricket. It's like a Pinocchio feel about it, doesn't it? Notice how they don't really show those kinds of cartoons that we watched as children, especially like the ones from, say, the 50s or the 30s, or like when the moral decorum was different, and some of the things that they did would be quite offensive to our sensibilities now, and yet at the same time some of the things that they did were reinforcements of rules, of morals, of ethics, and it was a way to teach children these things, and we've maybe removed some of that from where it needs to be. Maybe the child within us needs reinforcement of those things, and that's why we're looking at these things before, you know, Dad Saturn comes back into the room and says, did you clean up your mess? You know, the cricket being the conscience. Like, yeah, I know I shouldn't do that. Yeah, I know better. Yeah, I know that's going to hurt me. I know that's going to hurt someone else. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Right? That kind of a feeling in the whale. Ooh, gobble you up and take you away and be trapped inside it, and then have to like get out of that before it digests you. Right? Digests us. And I'm definitely seeing someone here. He's standing, he's got like a bird face, like a bird face, but he's standing in a cloak, and he's holding out a white tray. It could be a piece of paper. It looks like a mirror, like he's trying to collect the sun, right? Like he's like trying to collect the rays of the sun, or maybe direct them on something. So when I see the bird like this, of course, I'm always thinking of Thoth first, the ibis, right? I'm thinking of the heron with their long beak, which is like solitude, solitary, knowing, wisdom, introspection, and being adaptable, right? But I'm also thinking about this, well, remember during the pandemic, everyone was, what is the word? The plague masks, right? With those long beaks that they would stuff with herbs and other things to keep them from inhaling the smell and the germs, right? That kind of a thing. So there's like this protective mechanism. And again, like because of resourcefulness, maybe adaptability, like knowing that taking an action to do that, part of that wisdom, but there's this inherent knowing that there needs to be something between you and the like a barrier, I'm gonna say like a protective barrier for health, right? He's got a cloak over him, he's got this mask on, and he's holding this reflective thing to kind of like show people something. It's like you're showing people something, but at the same time you're within this protective scope for yourself to keep yourself healthy and kind of have like a barrier between, but you're still like out there in the world, right? And being this reflective thing, and at the same time, like, is it a pad of paper? Is he collecting information? Is he sharing information? I think it's all of the above, because when we shine that light back from the sun onto the surface, things are seen. Again, there's that things are seen, right? And the solar eclipse saying, all right, that's done, that's over with. We're moving on to new, like, you know, we've eclipsed out the things from the subconscious mind and let those things go and stir and clean those up. And now we're able to clean things out in the daylight, right? In actions in the conscious mind, because Libra is going to be demanding more balance of us before we actually fully let those kinds of things go deeply when Scorpio season comes. And oh, it's coming. So we're doing the footwork, we're doing the important things that are needed to be done to make these smooth transitions, and so that we can get the most out of the energies available to us. No, because astrology is like the weather. That's right. Thank you, Spirit. Astrology is the weather. I was just talking about this to my cousin, because you know, we expect it. It's early morning here. Crickets are still. I said that and it stopped. Oh, there it went again in the Jiminy Cricket, and I can hear them, right? But we expect there to be night and a day. Every turn of the earth, we expect there to be a night and a day. And every time the earth goes all the way around the sun, we expect there to be seasons in that change, right? And during those seasons, we expect certain things of those seasons. And what we know and what we've learned, the weather goes beyond our planet, right? And that time is dictated by the celestial bodies and how they're in relation to each other. So there is weather. There is a certainness about, you know, each of the planets being in a certain place, just like there's a certainness about the full moon being full and right here, and the sun being in the exact equal position with the earth right now. There's that same kind of predictable or assumptive weather mapping that you can do. You know, it's cold in the winter in the northern hemisphere. Pretty safe bet. All right, the same kind of thing when Saturn is in Pisces, and then it goes into Aries. and then it goes back into Pisces. It's just a change in the weather, you know, and we have to learn to dress for it, right? Accommodate, if we prepare for it. If you need to gather more of resources for a cold winter, that's what you do, and nobody bucks it and says, well, maybe that's just weather isn't real, you know, like obviously it is the same kind of a thing that spirit is like been like pounding into my, you know, hammering home. This is what's happening. It's the time for this. And it's just about being adaptable. And now I'm seeing a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. Oh, is it gorgeous? It's got rainbows in its wings. Wow, this butterfly is, I've never seen this butterfly in my glass before. Glass is my crystal. Wow, glass butterfly. Interesting. That might mean something to someone. It's definitely iridescent and rainbowy. It's like that emerging out of the caterpillar emerging out of the cocoon. It's not, the transformation has already occurred, and we're out there flying around, enjoying it, being a butterfly. Like that the karmic transitions, the evolution of self, all of these things. It's like that is the karmic reward, right? Coming through. You maintain your balance through this. You find the equilibrium there, and you are rewarded. With the nectar and fruit. I heard with the nectar and fruit. Let's get some cards. Ancestors, spirits, guides. What messages do you have for the collective today? Hi, Jax. He's very excited. Ancestors, spirits, guides. I'm going to turn these around because we have the Great Bear and the King of Stones. They both came out in the reverse. Not quite done yet. Not quite done yet. Moving very slowly. The Great Bear is the world energy. And look at that 10 of vessels on the bottom. 6 of vessels in reverse underneath that. The horse and the Great Bear. And they're actually in the reverse here, which is like we not being able to get to that point of completion, not being able to get things out in the world because of stubbornness or lack of effort, lack of energy, right? Maybe even greediness, maybe there's like such a sedentariness that the thing can't complete itself. There's something about motivation here, and something about like the collective, you know, sitting here. Let's get a little bit more information on this, because I want to know, what is this world in reverse? What is this Great Bear in reverse, spirit? Okay, you guys, I'm looking at this, and it is a mixed deck. All right, and that's funny because I opened it on Virgo, right? The hooded man, the time, and the 2 of bows in the reverse. An option not taken. No longer at a crossroads. Don't need to have to think about that one. There's not even a decision to be made because your inner wisdom is already telling you which way to go. What came out over here is also the Queen of Stones and the Page of Vessels in reverse. Again, a bear, and this time with an otter. See, they're all upside down. Having to get some balance here. And look at these stones. It's like the Knight of Stones and the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, both in the reverse. Both in the reverse. Something isn't completing because there's no love in it. Otter, Page of Cups in the reverse. All right. Thank you, Spirit. Taking that time, that introspection. Let's set those down. I'm going to put them back in the deck. I know, I just want to put them away, right? I'm like, okay, well, if you're not going to work on it, then what are we doing? Justice. Damn wow. Yup. No longer putting up with crap. To things that are not ever going to be successful, with people who are never going to put their intentions into it, who don't put the effort into it. Man, what a theme. I think that in my personal subconscious, in my personal perspectives, it's like, what is it that you can't handle in your work anymore, you know, like, or just in things, right? And for me, I'm a doer. I am a doer. I got so much Aries in me. If I wasn't doing, I'd be spinning. And normally I work very, very quickly, and I make quick decisions, and I get to the bottom of things and get through it, right? Because I got a list of things I need to do, and that sometimes can be spastic. And I have to reel myself back in, right? But bottom line, I'm a doer, and I do, unlike a lot of Aries stereotypes, I do get things done, a lot of things done, right? Because it bothers me when they're left hanging, or when I don't do what I said I would do. That bothers me. So yeah, so if people aren't doers, like talkers, or people who never get to the end of it, never finish the project, never get to that point of completion, don't get to the thing, you know, or sit around. Because if it doesn't ever, it's like that idea of job security. Like, if you don't ever get the job done, you'll always have the job. I can't handle that in my life. Like, and I think that a lot of people are starting to see, think if you're a doer, if you're someone who completes things, you're going to start to see like that's bothering. There's projects that aren't getting completed. Is it because of lack of effort? Is it because of lack of resource? Is it because of lack of interest? Why is that not stopping, right? And why is it keeping it from becoming out into the world? It's the heart chakra is blocked because of that, right? There's a message here about that. We saw the Virgo with the two of wands in the reverse. I split the deck again, and then I got the Libra with the two of wands in reverse. We are on the cusp today of Virgo and Libra. That internal knowing shining at 2112, the reflection, right? The reflection, the number 11, the number 11. I go like that. I know these lights make it hard to see the cards sometimes. There's definitely, a call to rebalance today. I'm just gonna, ancestors, can you tell me a little bit more about this? What needs to be done? We're seeing all these things. Thank you for this confirmation. What else? Why is this relevant to our collective today? The World Tree, number 21. Like Spirit was giving us a little sign here about the World Tree and the Hanged Man energy, right? Because they're kind of the same. It's Yggdrasil. Odin hanging from the Yggdrasil. Here is the Yggdrasil. The World Tree, the Labyrinth, the 4 seasons. Do you see that on there? This is showing up because there's poor judgment being called here, and something needs to come to completion. Somebody's not making a judgment call. Things aren't getting to the to the point where they're going to complete unless we complete them. And it's like, is it the job that isn't getting done that needs to be completed, or is it the effort being put into that needs to be looked at here? And it could be anything. Okay, it could be anything. It could be something in your family. It could be, that closet that you haven't cleaned out for a while. It could be something internally within yourself. Like the resolution of this today, saying, I ain't going back. I ain't doing that anymore. We're not dealing with this because something isn't completing. I'm telling you this. Here's the completion of it. It's never going to get to that point. We've already decided this. It's like she's guarding the cave, but any old thing could come through. 2 bears. I don't know. There's a polar bear and it looks like a grizzly bear or a brown bear. Ferocious. Why? Like taking those resources. The World Tree provides for everything, for everyone. What's on the bottom? 9 of bows, and it was coming out in the reverse, right? We got all these reverse cards. Respect is about disrespect. And it's about self-respect. What we allow and what we don't allow, right? The standards that we set for ourselves and being respectful of those. Wow, we're going to get some, we got the Caroline Miss archetype. And all of a sudden I'm going to sound like my grandpa. I hear my grandpa. Ancestor spirit. You know what? Because he say, I buy you books and buy you books. You bring home every stray dog in the neighborhood. And then sometimes you just go, buy books and buy books. Because I've taught you better. what he'd say. His own way of saying, I taught you better. You know better. Why you still bringing home, traipsing around, hanging out with, putting up with. That ain't good for you, and you know better. I buy your books and buy your books. Look, mystic, and it came out in the reverse. A delusional rapport with the divine revels in the intimate union with the divine. There's like this idea of like we can't connect with things if we aren't connected with things. Look, monk and nun. Selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit, negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. The mystic versus the nun. So let's compare the lights and the shadows. The shadows of each: that negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety, delusional rapport with the divine. Like getting down to brass tacks, getting down to the real. What's real, right? You decide for yourself how you feel about it. If it doesn't feel correct or right, it probably isn't. If somebody's saying that they're wonderful and fantastic and they ain't living up to that expectation, to the words that they're speaking, there's a lot of like this, like doing horrible things and saying that it was, the will of God, the will of the divine, that the will of the divine puts a certain person, place, thing, group above any other is a delusional report, right? It's a negative judgment of the physical world, because spirit made everything, every living thing. There ain't no judgment from spirit on the living things, on the natural things, on the material things. That excess judgment of the material is human. People do that. And it says selfless devotion to a single-minded dedication to spirit revels in the intimate union with the divine. So if we're in that space, we realize that everything and everyone is connected to spirit. We revel in the beauty, we revel in the magic, we revel in the things others, others, period, but the things others do, see, say. We revel in each other. And that feels like this can't happen with stubbornness, greed, overbearingness, control, poor judgment, things not getting finished, no love there, those types of things, right? Things that are based in disrespect, because it's all divine. It's all got the spirit of the divine in it. Who are we to judge it? We are here to revel in it, enjoy it, love it, take part in it. What else, Spirit? What else? Who do we need to, what archetype do we need to embody in this situation? Ooh. Saboteur. In the light attribute, it says, highlight your fear of self-improvement and the things it would bring to your life. Damn. That's all that moon energy, all that eclipse energy, all that stuff we have been talking about. Highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. How much would change if you empowered yourself? How much would you have to change to make the differences in your life? And are you willing to do that? Or do you keep yourself in a situation, or people keep you in a situation so that they don't have to go through all of the effort of the change, right? Shadow attribute induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Hydrox, what are you doing? I think he had a lot to say about this. Yeah, okay. It's like she's popping that balloon. Like she's popping that balloon. On the bottom, student. Humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Yeah, and that, would be this Knight of Pentacles energy if it was in the upright. Humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning, being open to it, again, not closing the door, not closing things down, not saying that we know everything already. There's like a stubbornness here that could be part of this sabotage, that could be part of this delusional rapport, like projecting that it's some divine will to keep things stuck, to in any way undermine or hurt others is not divine, right? To keep people from being able to learn things, speak things, share things, express things, or to have to associate any of the functions of those things in any way with malice. This says arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, the shadow side of students, of learning, of beingness, right? Arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. Damn. Unwilling to translate. Whoop, look at that. As the Knight of Pentacles fell down, into action. Can you turn it into something solid? Can you turn it? This is that poor judgment, not getting things done, right? These people don't get things done. They don't bring things to completion. They stay put, right? And they would like to keep things in that place, probably because their own fear, right? Delusional fear, and not being able to, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. So you learned, but you didn't do, right? I buy you books and buy you books. You bring home every stray dog in the neighborhood. Unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. When we should try our best, Spirit would love to teach us things if we could stay humble, right? Humility and devotion to knowledge, open to lifelong learning, not shutting ourselves down, because that is self-sabotage. And God would never tell us to do that. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. All right, so we're going to get a mind body makeover Mona Lisa card. This is a long one today, guys. Bear with me. It's Sunday. It's the equinox. There's a lot going on, and we're going to take our time with it today. Spirit has been pulling. I've been talking a wonderful time at Glowfish yesterday. Met some wonderful, wonderful people. Saw a friend I haven't seen in a very long time. It was nice. That everybody was enjoying the sunshine and out, and a couple people sang Taylor Swift karaoke, and it was just all around like a really good day, and the energy was really lifting, and it was really, really beautiful. And I think this is just keep going, like a reminder, like keep going. Now is the time. You're on the right track. All right, ancestors, spirits. These cards are hard to shuffle. Okay, look, healthy joy. Number 3 at 3333 on my timer, and it's healthy joy number 3. Wow. In the shadow it says, I feel happiest if I'm busy, productive, or at work at something. And healthy joy says, I can be happy and love myself whether I'm working or at rest. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Just because we're sitting doesn't mean we're stopping. Just because we're sitting doesn't mean that we're lazy, right? Is when we do that, it's like when that's all there is, inertia sickness, right? An object at rest stays at rest, an object in motion stays in motion. And you could be happy, you don't have to be doing something. Resting is something. Loving yourself whether or not you're doing something. Thank you, Spirit. Openness and learning, right? What are you doing in those times of rest? What are you doing in those times of action? Thank you, Spirit. Spirit doesn't want anybody to feel rushed or like they have to do the things that like constantly do the things. here's the thing too, is like, is the work that's constant, like, you know, is it busy work that's non-productive? Take a rest, right? Did you accomplish something you worked really hard on? Take a rest, right? Do you need a break because you're overtaxing yourself and you're starting to get a little bit, you know, like not on point, concentration's breaking a little bit? Take a rest. But then get up and finish the job. Get up and finish doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Get up and get it done. Taking a rest doesn't mean stopping, doesn't mean quitting, right? And that's this thing, is like, what are we putting our energy to? What are we, go back to the drawers, the junk drawer from the moons. What is being taken out? What wiping down the surfaces, putting what is needed back in, discarding the rest, giving it away to charity, throwing it in the trash, you know, putting it elsewhere because maybe that's not where it goes, right? Doing those things. Healing sadness, number 1. In the reverse, it says, I feel rejected by my family and friends. It says, I now have a wealth of family and friends who make me feel like I belong. And again, you know, like, it's just seeing these bears and these world trees and these lack of respect. And the student is a tree. You see that? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, the seasons. The seasons. Things have really changed, and what we're learning is what's happening, what Spirit is showing, and the universe is having the universal weather for right now, is this time of looking at our motivations and looking at what we believed was true. How are we sabotaging ourselves? And are we blaming our BS on Spirit when we really are disrespecting ourselves and Spirit by doing that? Or people are doing that. Like, if it's not you directly, you know, I don't know if this collective would be doing that, but I think that that's a really prevalent thing in the world. And maybe sometimes we are. Take it how it resonates. On the bottom, it says healing anger, number 5. If I'm not right, I lose control. That would be the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, right? Wanting to control the situation. It says, inspired, I go after my bliss, but I'm also open to the emotional reactions of others. That's that Page of Cups in the reverse here. You know, not feeling sorry about something, no love in something, you know, the poor judgments of things. If somebody's sabotaging something, if somebody's, you know, not using what they've learned, if they're not taking appropriate action with the knowledge that they've gained, you know, we're going to still go after our bliss. We're still going to go after the things that we love, right? We're still going to learn new things and empower ourselves. Hi, Kibo. Excuse me. Boop, boop. All right. I'm going to get this one, and then I'm going to pull a rune. If you're still hanging out, thank you guys for being here so much. I hope this has been helpful. Ooh, what have we got? Yeah, look. Oh, wow. 33 at 38:33 on my timer. 33 is huge. I'm gonna put that up there. Look up card number 33. Patience, waiting for the right moment. Time is but a stream I go fishing in. I drink at it all, but while I drink, I see the sandy bottom and detect how shallow it is. Its thin current slides away, but eternity remains. Henry David Thoreau. A ballerina casts a golden line and lure with which she captures a golden desired. Sorry. Stop for just a minute. Kibo's knocking all the stuff off of here and I'm not seeing. Patience, my child. The patience grasshopper. And then from the cricket to the grasshopper. Thank you, Spirit. A ballerina casts a golden line and lure with which to capture a desired goal or item. The process is calm and planned, the pace leisurely. There is no rush or looming deadline. She will know when the right time has come and the moment is appropriate. A kingfisher, harbinger of tranquility, accompanies her, and together they will wait. Despite desire for results, Despite the desire for results, some occasions or decisions simply should not be rushed. We should approach either with caution or restraint, waiting for the opportune moment. But we must also be wary of being too indulgent and devoting too much time to waiting for some imagined perfect moment, person, or thing. Worthy opportunities may be lost if they are overlooked or in anticipation of some other intangible, better option to arrive. Thank you, Spirit. There's Kibo, knocking things down, being quite impatient. She wants to climb up the desk. Yes, this is it. Like these people sitting around waiting for something, you have to take that manifestation. You have to take control of your situation and your destiny without trying to control everything else around it. And sometimes that means patience. Oh, yeah. Sometimes that means moving, like taking action, doing what you need to do without feeling like there's going to have some negative repercussion from somebody sabotaging it, or from some supposed punishment from a deity that doesn't actually feel that way. It's just like a human imposition, right? This is about respect and be people around you loving you and respecting you too, and being patient with you and you being patient with them, and everybody letting everybody have the feelings that they're feeling when their feelings are feeling them, right? That's where the balance is. Thank you, Spirit. I'm hearing that's where the balance is. Thank you, Spirit. You well balanced. Kibo's got some good balance. And now the rune, and then I'll let you guys at 4141, and then we'll get back to our day. Kano opening the fire torch. My book is over here. Kano. Crazy. This is a rune. Let's put it the right way. It came out upright. This is a rune of opening up, of renewed clarity, of dispelling the darkness that has been shrouding some part of your life. You are free now to receive and to know the joy of non-attached giving. Thank you, Spirit. Kano is the rune for the morning of activities, for seriousness, clarity, and concentration, all of which are essential at the beginning of hard work. The protection offered by Kano is this: the more light you have, the better you can see what is trivial and outmoded in your conditioning. In relationships, there can now be a mutual opening up. You may serve as the trigger, the timekeeper, through your awareness that the light of understanding is once again available to you both. Recognize that while on one hand you are limited and dependent, on the other you exist in the perfect center where harmonious and beneficent forces of the universe merge and radiate. You are that center. Simply put, if you have been operating in the dark, there is now enough light to see that the patient on the operating table is yourself. I'm being called to read the reverse. It says, if the darkening, because it's the equinox, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Expect the darkening of the light in some situation or relationship. A friendship may be dying, a partnership, a marriage, some aspect of your life that is no longer appropriate or valid. Receiving this rune puts you on notice that the failure to face up to the death consciously would constitute a loss of opportunity. Kano is one of the cycle runes. Reversed, it points to the death of a way of life invalidated by growth. Reversed, this rune calls for giving up gladly the old and being prepared prepared to live a life, prepared to live for a time empty. It calls for developing inner stability. Wow. not being seduced by the momentum of old ways while waiting for the new to become illuminated in its proper time. And the balance is, yes, some things are opening up and some things are closing, but what fell off the table, what Kibo knocked off the table, was the nine of wands in the reverse, where it says respect, and it's about giving up, right? Don't give up, give up. And it's like, what? Well, yeah, there's a balance here. Some things are being let go of and some things are being held on to. Some things are being opened up to the new, and it's about balance. Balance. What are we letting go of? What perceptions are we letting go of? What outmoded personality traits, characteristics, habits, people, places, things, and pick a noun or a verb, right? Or even an adjective. How are we describing things? Maybe that's what we need to rebalance in our lives, right? So I think it's because of the grandiosity of the spectrum of things. It can apply to many areas, and it most likely will simultaneously. So I'm wishing you all balance. I'm wishing you all joy and peace in your heart. All right, and the healing that's needed, right? We got stuff to do in this next chapter, and we're headed toward it now. This is like the last little tying up of loose ends of that old chapter, so that this new chapter that you've been brewing, that's been stewing, that's ready to go, can take off without a hitch, can get going. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that you got something out of it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for remembering to hit like and subscribe. Kiva wants to say hello. And thank you for coming back and seeing us again next time. Bye.
Transformation in 3, 2, 1.